This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, and then we're going to take a look at the ETF, ETHU, which is for Ethereum. It's a two-time leverage fund. We're going to put that in the mix from now on, and then we'll take a look at gold and silver, crude oil, natural gas. Then we'll take a look at the old indexes, which are pretty much red except for the old Nasdaq. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy on stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here we have Bitcoin daily and your weekly chart. Now you can see here Friday we had that nice big green candle, and it was above the 8-day. That and just right at sitting at that 21-day. It looked like it could have ripped higher, but obviously no, it didn't. Okay, so now we put in another lower low situation and rallied up, and where did it go? Right into the 50-day. That's why you trade the charts. Okay, so let's look at the upside first. This is what we're watching: 113.984. It's going to be very, very critical. We get above that, come right at the top of that candle. What do we have there? Yeah, 113.984. Okay, now right there is 114.640. We'll come to the top of this candle, 115.30, and this is the big boy right here, 115.425. That is going to be your 8-day. Let me big that up a little bit for you. Okay, so that's going to be very, very key. 115.425. Now again, if we get above that, then we'll come to this 116 area, 862. That's your 21-day, and then we can go to Friday's high, which is 117.640. Okay. Now, we get above that, you can crank above here, 118.350 level. We can get up to the top of that candle, 119.810. And we just follow these candles all the way on up here, 127.55 level. You want to always look at this one, 121.255. And we'll come to the top there at 122.955. And then here's the big boy right here at that 123.615. That was your double top situation. And then we crank it up to the 125.200 level. But big but here, you got to get and close above that 50-day, that 8-day, and 21-day in order to even have a shot at that retest, okay? So this is going to be very, very critical and resistant. Now, and their futures open at 6 bells, this 8-day is going to be lower, okay? So even if you get above that 50-day, this is going to be lower. And if it comes and it crosses over that 50-day, this is going to take that price lower, okay? That's just reality. Now, on the downside here, what we're watching the bottom of that candle, 112.485. Okay, right there, you're looking at 112.075. And then we have Friday's low, 111.805. And then obviously today's low at 110.655. Now, when we look right to the left of the chart, what do we got here? You got 110.455. That's going to be next level. And then we come to the top of that candle, 110.265. Top, 109.685. Bottom, 108.625. Bottom, 107.840. And then we'll come down 107.680. Then we'll be looking right here for that 105.789 level. Okay, that's what's going to be all your big key levels here. Now, we also right above that 100-day, we have this 21-day, which you always got to keep your eye on, because on a weekly chart, those are always very, very strong support levels. 107, 153. Okay, so that's going to be right above what we have your 100 SMA. But right now, this is off this double top situation. Always look at those chart patterns. If you want to learn about chart patterns or candlesticks, go to my playlist. They're all sitting there right on there for you at your convenience. But you can see how this is rolling over in that 8-day. I don't like that 8-day. Once it made a cross, now you're looking across that 50-day, which could be the price lower. Now, that being said, there was some good scalping opportunities today. Now, VITX, that was an awesome scalp for me. It got as low as 54.07. High is 56.60, okay? So I got in at 54.40, and I was out at 56.20. So that was a really, really good trade just on pretty much nothing situation here, okay? Now, you can see here we had that negative divergence going on. Came right down, you're sitting at 44. That's got a ways to go. Your green below your red. This could still go lower. There's nothing oversold here, nothing oversold here. So just always remember that. This is basically a trading situation. Okay. Now on the upside, just watch again. Watch that 50-day, then watch that 8-day, and then we watch that 21-day. That's going to be very, very critical. We had a nice, good reaction there on Friday, but it couldn't hold it. Came right on down. Okay. Now we look at the weekly. Now this is still a very, very bullish chart. See, bottom left, higher low, higher low. This can come all the way down to this 50-day, and this still is a very, very bullish chart. Okay. So just always remember that. Right. So here's what we're watching, two big levels by Friday, okay, on the weekly, is 107, 157. You want to hold that. And then we're looking at this 116, 664 level, okay? That's your 8-day and your 21-day. Right now, we got the pinball action going between it. We can get above that and hold it like we did last week. Even though we came down, we closed above. That would be awesome here for the old Bitcoin. Now, downside, you have to hold that 107. If you don't, we could come right down to the bottom of that candle. You look at 99. We can venture all the way down to 95. Okay, so right here, this is nowhere near. You could come all the way down here to get oversold. Your green is starting to cross over your red. So it's kind of looking like a bearish situation in the short term. That's the key, is the short term. Longer term, I think Bitcoin's going to crack right on up here by the end of the year and go 135, 40, maybe even 150 here by the end of the year. So just be patient, trade it. That's all I'm doing. This is just a trader's market all the way on. Just get in, get out, put the money in your pocket kind of a situation. Okay. Now let's take a look here at this Ether, ETHU. Okay, this is the ETF. Now, we're going to put this in the game plan here every day. Seems like a lot of people like to trade this Ethereum. I'm not trading it. I'm just with the Bitcoin. I have to do more research on it. I just don't jump into something because you jump into it, okay? There's a lot of good trades out there, and as far as the tech-wise, was a really good trading today. Netflix and Google and even, say, NVIDIA. There was a lot of good trades, especially even like Tesla. Really, really good trades there today. So don't just jump into something. Do a little research. That's what I do. Now, you can see here on Friday, look at this pop. Hey, look at that bad boy. Boom. She popped right up that green here. But what do we have? Now we got this double top situation. Okay. Couldn't hold it. So now we just have ourselves what they call an inside day. Now, if it can work itself right back up here, you have to clear that 188.73, and that would negate that double top. Next level is going to be just bring this bad boy right across. And what do we have? Okay, you got 194.80. Okay, that's going to be your next level. Then what we can do is we just come right over here, to the left-hand side. What do we got? You got a 205. Okay, then we just keep cranking these candles right on up. You got 216 level. We come and work yourself up there. You got 228. We come up there. What do we got? We got 236, and then we have 246, and then your big retest, 251 flat. But we have this double top situation, so just be very, very careful to see where we all stand. Now, this here rallied and it consolidated nice, blasted right up, consolidated, and then blasted up again. But you notice when it sold off, it came down, lost the 8-day, but it held this 21-day here very, very nice. Never even got down there. So on the downside, what you're really watching, today's low was 165.87. But you really want to watch the bottom of this candle, 165 flat. That's going to be key, and this 8-day is going to be key at 159. Now, we start losing it. We'll come right to the top of this candle, 154.52. We can go into Friday's low, 145.83. But what we're really looking for is that 140.73 level. Now, if we lose all that situation, then we always look right to the left of the chart because that was the breakout, 127.69. And then we have a lot of gaps and fill. See, gap and fill, another gap and a fill, and then we had this retest all that 102.62 level and even the 50-day. But right now here, what we had is we had this really high, but we had a negative divergence. Okay, so we have a high and we have a lower high. We had a high, we had a higher high. We got this little bit, you got to really take a look at it, but we had negative divergence and then she came right on off. Now, again, the green was trying to cross over the red, but on Friday, a lot of things happened. So, I mean, if you're trading this, I hope you took some profits because when you get a big green candle like this that wipes out everything that you had in the past, that usually means there's a top in play. Okay, so just always remember that. Now, again, let's look at the old weekly chart. Now, obviously, it hasn't been around that long, but again, now you can see it's really uptrending nice. Got to an oversold, overbought condition, I should say. The green is still over your red, looking still very, very good. But again, if we got to come down here, as long as we're holding this 8-day, you see across the 21-day, the 50-day, now she's rolling back up. Okay, so bottom line is that 8-day is going to be very critical on a closing basis, and that 188.73 on a closing basis for the upside. Okay, so there's a lot of things, a lot of good targets, but you have a nice, good, rounded situation, and you have a lot of nice targets if you can crack above that 188 to go all the way to that 215 level. So let's just chart this here for a while, and let's just see how this all shakes out. All right, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold and silver. Really a whole lot of, like a big nothing burger going on. It's made a high of 34.21. This is what you're looking at, 34.23. Now you take this candle, all you got to look to the left. What do you have? 34.23. Dead nuts, okay? Boom. Today, inside day. So what we're watching, obviously, is that 34.23 level. We can get just above that bad boy, okay? Then we're going to be looking right here, 34.30. We'll come back to the bottom of that candle, 34.45, 34.51 level. Then we come to the top of that candle at that 34.66. And then we're going to be looking right there to the left of the chart. We look at top of that candle. You're looking at 34.76. And then we have 35.09. And then we have your big retest at 35.34 level. But right now, she's just kind of slow and easy. We had a nice thing move on Friday. Of course, you had to move on everything on Friday. Okay. Now, what we're looking at on the downside is that 21-day, 33.96 level. Then we're looking for the 8-day, 33.88. And then we had the 50-day at 33.76. You lose that, come right to Friday's low, 33.62. Come down to the bottom there, 33.53. And then we have your 100-day, 33.32. And your retest there at 3,300, right? But right now we just have sideways action consolidation. So let's just see how it shakes out. This here, 54, I could go either way. The green is still below your red, but it looks like it might want to curl up. Got to give you a little bit patient, all right? So for me right now, I have no trade until we start getting back above this key level, that 34.23. Then I might jump in at GLD and then see if we can take that bad boy higher. Now, silver, same thing. I have no trade going. I had a nice trade there on gold and silver on Friday, but I didn't go into the weekend with it. I just took it off and made some good money on gold and on the silver. GLD, SLV for the silver, okay? But I just, I'm no trade this. I'm not really a gold or silver trader. I just say, well, I can see it moving, I'll jump on top of it. Like this was a really, really good trade because it started going up and made a higher. Always look to the left of the chart. Okay, you want to watch the top of that. Once you start breaking above that, above the 21 8-day and the previous day's high, that's a good time to take along. But I said, nah, I'm not going to go into the weekend. I have no idea what's going to happen. No one does. And obviously this is really a whole lot of nothing going on. So what we're looking for on the upside is watch that 39.09 level. That's going to be very key. We get above, okay? We just look to the bottom there, 39.33. We come up there, 39.52, 39.66, and then a nice big retest at 39.91 level. Now, downside, really what we're watching, okay, we have this 38.52 is where it closed out at. But this area right here, okay, you can see how many times that it held it and you bring it all the way across, okay? Very, very strong support level. Then we can come on top of that candle at 38.34, but we're really looking here for that 38.12, that's an 8-day, and that 21-day, 37.95, and then that 50-day at 37.63. Those are all your key support levels. So we've got to see how this shakes out. But right now we have an inside day, so it's not really telling you a whole lot, right? So 56, that's not overbought or oversold. The green is trying to work itself over the red. And we have a nice, good uptrending situation here, okay? So always look at that. I think silver eventually goes higher. I think you're going to crack out of there. You can hit that 40, 42, 45 level. But right now you have to be just a little patient. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. Here we have crude oil. I am in the UCO. Okay, that's why I'm in, and I'm long so far, and I'm going to see how this all shakes out. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little bit patient. Now you can see here what we did is the reason I got in there is because we made this higher high situation, went into the 100-day above that. Now we're stuck right here at that 21-day. Now you can see we went a little bit higher, but right now we're sitting right at it. Okay, so this is what you want on the upside is that 64.87 level. Okay, then the next level you're going to come up is that 50-day 66.45, and then we have your 200-day at 67.50. Get above that, then we'll come right to the bottom of that candle, 68.56. At the top of that candle at 69.58, and then 70.51. Those are going to be your upside targets and upside resistance levels. But the 21-day, 50-day, 200-day, very, very strong. Get above that. Hell, we can zip to that 70.15 very, very easily. Now, as I say, this is hurricane season. I think eventually crude's going to go down in the 50s, just not in this time frame. So you have this hurricane season till about the first week of October, so you have to respect that. Any kind of a news, there's another hurricane that's developing right in the Atlantic, and if it comes into that Gulf, you shut down the ports, you shut down the rigs. That affects crude oil, natural gas, gasoline, boom, all one shot. Very easy, okay? So now on the downside, right here, 64.32, that's what we're watching. That's your 100-day. Next level you're looking at as key level is that 63.32. There's your 8-day, and then we look to the bottom of the candle, 62.52. Look to the bottom of there, 61.63, and your retest at 61.45. Very, very easy, okay? Now you can see here how that 8-day now is starting to curl up, and that could send that price up higher. We're only sitting at 50. We never got to an oversold condition. The same with the green red, but we're sitting at the bottom. So right now I'm long the UCO, and I'm going to hang on to it and see what happens at 6 o'clock, kind of a situation. And we'll be trading against today's candle. Okay, so you want to watch today's high at 65.10 and that low at 63.53. Okay, now that's going to be very key. But realistically, that 21 day, you have to breach that to get to the 50 day to the 200 SMA. So let's just see how it all shakes out here. But we're getting into a nice good downtrend, but now we have a nice uptrend going here with a series of higher highs and higher lows. That's very, very nice, but it hit a brick wall with the 21 day. All right, let's take a look at natural gas. All right, natural gas, I made no trade today. Okay, I just didn't really see it. I think tech was a lot better trade. Oil was a lot better trade. I just didn't really see anything. Okay, like you take the UNG for the long. You made a low 1173 and a high at 12. Big deal. Okay, KOLD, you made a low of 39.19 and a high of 40.70. You could have probably scalped a little out there. It just isn't worth it that I could see risk-reward situation. All right, so let's look at the upside. Okay, so what we have is at 272 level. That's what we're going to be watching. But realistically, this is what you can be watching, this 2.8. That's that 8 day. Now, we get above it, we come right to the top of that candle, looking at about 2.85 level, and then we'd be looking right there at that 293, and that's going to be very, very critical on a closing basis. We can get above it, then we can come to this retest right there at 319, possible the 324 level, possibly 336, possibly 3.49. Now again, like I've been pointing out, natural gas is in a complete downtrend situation. That never lasts. Natural gas is coming into its time. You get some cold weather coming in here. You're going to have, if you have a hard winter, anything like that, any kind of disruption, boom, it's going to send natural gas higher. Okay, so just watch this 8 day. That's going to be everything. You get above that, you watch that 21 day. That's everything. You get above that, then it's time to jump in that bad boy and take it higher. Okay, now downside. Well, you came all the way down to 262. Okay, so what we're watching this level here. 268, and we came down to this level, 264, and now we came all the way down here, 263 level, and this is the next level that we're looking for, is that 2.57. So if it keeps on going down, look about, 2.57, I just call it 2.58, okay? Then we lose that, we can come down to 2.51 level, and then we can come to the top of that candle, 2.44, and then we have 2.37, and you work yourself all the way down, 2.26, and a nice big retest down there at that 2.27. Right there at 2.21 level. Okay, but again, eventually this will turn. We have this big downtrend, but now you're coming into the seasonality play where this is going to be right, maybe even rocketing up. Depends on the kind of winter and what we got going on. Okay, so that's what we're watching. Just be very, very careful and be very patient. Now, we're sitting way down here at 35. This is not oversold by no means, but we're sitting at the bottom. This is not oversold, but we're sitting at the bottom. So it won't take much, little bit, get above that 21 day, we could have a nice ripper up here all the way on up. All right, let's take a look at the indexes. Here we have the Dow, S&P, NASDAQ. Okay, the Dow. Well, obviously, last Friday we made that new high, 45,757. Today, inside day. So what we're watching on the upside is 45,757. We crack above that, we can go to that 46,000 very easy, okay? Downside, what we're really watching is the top of that candle, 45,203, and then we'll be watching that 8 day at 40.50, okay? That's what we're going to be watching. Then we can come all the way down here to the 44,572, and then we have your 50 day, and then we have your retest there at 43,340 level. Then we have your 200 day, and then we have the 100 day, okay? And we have a gap and a fill situation there. Now, we have this negative divergence, rallied up really nice, and then today you can see where we have the pull down. Now, the Dow's down about 278, but let's just see how this just shakes out, see maybe if we get ourselves a nice turnaround Tuesday, all right? So here we have the S&P. Now, negative divergence on the S&P, okay? So we rallied up very, very nice, 64.81. Now, question is this Friday's, is this a double top? Okay, so on Friday, you only got the 64.78, just below that's 81 level. Okay, so is that question, is that going to be a double top? Now, if we get it back above that 64.81, that would negate that double top, and we'd obviously go higher, probably pressing out towards that 65 area. No problem. Okay, now downside, you're watching that 8 day. Okay, and we're watching this 21-day, 63.88. Then we're watching the bottom of that candle, 63.43, and then we can come down to the bottom there at 63.10. And then we're looking for 50-day. Then we're looking for the retest. Then we're looking for the gap, the fill, the 100-day, okay, right there, and then the 200-day at 59.48. But let's just see if this double top plays out. If it doesn't, we're going to crack above that, close above it, negates that pattern, and we take it higher, right? Now, here we have the Nasdaq. Now, Nasdaq was doing pretty good. It's up about 19. No big deal. Basically on NVIDIA. Remember, the earnings are coming out there on the 27th. So a lot of stuff is moving in that direction. We got to see how that all going to shake out here, like over time. Okay. So let's just see what they say. Now, I did NVIDIA's number. So look at my midday trading. The chart is right on. So it's last time they had earnings, the market, the stock rallied up very nice and kept right on going up. The other 3 times before that, sold right on off. So let's see how this shakes out. All right. Now, nice rally up 21.803. Now, Friday we had a good rally, but you're hanging right around that key 50-day. 8-day. So this is what you'd want to watch: 21.445 and then 21.302. We start losing it. We just come to the bottom. Okay. 21.92 at 21.13. 29.05, and then we have your 50-day, and then we have your retest down here at 25.60. Now remember, gap, fill, 100-day, 200-day, negative divergence. So let's just see how this all shakes out. Just be a little bit patient with this. Now again, if the NVIDIA has good numbers, but remember, it's not the news that matters, it's the reaction to it, that it could, sell off. Now if they come up and they stink it up a little bit, they don't have it expected. They're expecting so much out of this company that if they don't quite deliver, you could have a pretty good market sell-off here, especially in this time period. So just be very leery. And just like I'm telling you for the last, 2 months now, this is a trader's market. Trader's market, trader's market. Okay? Now, I'm looking if we could get a nice good pullback, all the way to the end of September, maybe first week of October. Then that'd be a good buying opportunity to take it long into the end of the year. Let's just see how it all plays out. But right now, trade the market, use stops, put money in your pocket. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.